Kenton, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So I guess in case someone listening doesn't know who you are, they didn't see your show beforehand when you came on to talk about your podcast. Maybe do you want to introduce yourself and let us know why you're here?
Oh, sure. So my name is Kenton de Jong. I'm a podcaster in Regina. I have a podcast called Unsolved Canadian Mysteries. I also have a travel blog where I talk about travel across Canada or around the world. And in the summer months, I do tours of the cemetery. So a whole bunch of different fun things that I do
Yeah.
throughout the year.
Yeah, and today we're kind of going to be talking a little bit more, I guess, about the cemetery tours, right? Because they'll be starting up, not quite yet, but soon. Soon.
I hope so. Yeah, because last year we started them up in June, but the year before was in May, and it rained all that May. So like, oh, don't be rained out again. So we moved everything to June, but then it rained all June. So I don't know,
Oh, that's right.
May or June, whenever whenever it
Whenever
stops.
you can.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I guess kind of to start, do you want to tell us what is the Regina Cemetery Tour about?
sure. So the Regina Cemetery Tour talks about different people throughout Regina's history who have had some kind of impact on the city. No, this doesn't necessarily make the big impact. For example, last year we had one tour. I wanted to make it kind of themed. So, like for example, June was cyclone victims, people who died in the Regina cyclone. July, I think, was just my regular tour. August was famous women of Regina. Um, September was murder and mayhem, and October was I partnered with local actor Vince Murphy, and we talked about his family. So, like for example, on the famous women of Regina tour, some of the women we talked about, it was an area of the cemetery where there's a lot of women who died in childbirth or women or children who didn't make it. And obviously, that's a horrible story, but that isn't maybe what you think as like a really impactful woman of history in Regina. But it's something that happened over and over again, so it was important to highlight that story. So the tour covers a wide variety of people, different places. Some of them, maybe were in the Northwest Resistance. Some were in World War One or World War Two. Some of them died in Spanish flu. Some of them um, died, I think, in the cyclone from murder. We have one like many actually women who were killed by their husbands, and then we talk about the trial. So yeah, all some good stories, maybe about like teachers, nurses, that kind of thing, but also some really awful stuff too.
Kind of a little bit of everything, hey?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And what kind of got you started into doing the Regina Cemetery Tours?
So I started off. Oh man, that was a while ago. I started off. I think it was 2017. I came across some self-guided walking tours booklets of the cemetery, and in one of the booklets it said there's an area of the cemetery where there's all these unmarked Spanish flu victims, and I thought, oh, I could. I felt very, I guess, uh, charity. What's the word I'm looking for? I felt like doing a good thing. I guess I'm trying to think of the word. Yeah, I think of the name. Sorry. Uh, I felt like doing a good thing. I guess that year for the community, and I thought I'll do these cemetery tours and I'll raise money for a monument for the victims of the Spanish flu. It's gonna bug me. I can't remember that word. I'm so sorry.
No
um,
worries.
yeah, it's like philanthropy, but it's philanthropolic. Whatever. We'll carry on. We'll carry on. That's that word. So I wanted to raise money for the victims of the Spanish influenza, and I wanted to give them a headstone. So I teamed up with a local heritage group in 2017 to raise money for a headstone for them. I gave them a headstone, and then 2018 we did the tours again. 2019 I left the group, so there was a person who was going to do the tours because they were technically through them, but I was the host.
Right.
And then 2020 happened, and nothing's happened in 2020. And then 2021 happened, and nothing was happening that year either. And then finally 2022 came around, and the policy had changed, and I could start doing the tours again. So from then on, they're my tours. I could do them kind of however I wanted within some rules. But that's kind of how it started. I wanted to do some kind of fundraising for the Spanish flu, and I did that, and now it's to just raise money for the maintenance and repair of the cemetery.
Yeah, because I was surprised when you told me about that you don't actually get paid to do these tours. That they are all proceeds go to.
Yeah, all proceeds goes to the cemetery. Last year, there was some discussion because the previous year I asked the city, where does the money exactly go to? Because the headstones belong to the family, so no, they can't really touch them. But I was like, does it go to something? And it told me it
Yeah.
mostly goes to lawn care and grounds maintenance. I'm like, oh, that's not what I wanted. So we're working to find like a local headstone, not really cleaner, like a headstone, someone who repairs and maintains headstones in the city. So money can go towards them instead.
Yeah.
I want to go towards the city, but at the same time I pay taxes, and that goes towards lawn care. So I don't want this going towards lawn care as well.
Yeah, well, and especially since I know the Regina Cemetery has had a lot of vandalism in the past, where a lot of headstones have been broken or completely destroyed. So I could see.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything big, knock on wood, lately, but yeah, there was some, and over the years I've done some research, and there's of course was a lot more than just the one that happened in 2011 when they broke a whole bunch of headstones. There's a lot in the 80s as well.
Yeah.
There's one story we talk about on the tour now. Um, I think it happened in '88 when the Dark Mausoleum was broken into and some uh, caskets were opened up, that kind of thing. So nothing like that now, but it's still wear and tear. Things are falling down, things are breaking. It's an old cemetery, so things need to be repaired and replaced.
Oh yeah, well definitely. And there's been a lot of different cultures in that cemetery. I know because I came on the tour last year, which was a lot of fun. Um, so yeah, I can imagine even with families moving away, there might not be people around to help take care of headstones that get broken or fallen down or whatever happens.
Yep, because they do belong technically to the city, or I'm sorry, to the families. It's their responsibility to fix it. But if they're not around or they're all gone, then it just kind of sits there and fortunately kind of falls apart.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. So I guess kind of what kind of tours do you have planned for this year? Assuming you don't get rained out.
Yeah. Well, people really liked the cyclone tour, but it rained so much in June that no one really wanted to come on it. Although it was perfect, like atmospheric, storm clouds and wind and rain, talking about the cyclone. I thought it was great, but people don't like being rained on. So
Yeah.
we'll probably do it again in June again this year and see how the weather is, and if it's still ugly and gross, we might also do it in July, because it was
Okay.
pretty well received and it was a fun one, and there's some good stories on that. The Murder Mayhem one, of course, was very popular in September, so it's the most biggest one when we do that kind of story. Because we can't do the tours at night in October, so we do them at night in September. So
Mm-hmm.
when people find out that they're flashlight tours, they pretty much sell out the first week of September. Um, but that one, last year I had two guest speakers on. I had Warren James talk about the Potter's Field area, and I had Vince Murphy talk about what happened with the Dark and a little bit about the Regina riot. But this year, I'm going to change it up a bit because I came across a new story that kind of changed my whole route. So I
Oh,
have to, I have to sit down and figure out how I want to do it different this year. But that probably won't be until the fall, so I got a couple months to figure
to
out
figure it
how.
out.
Yeah, but it was like it's a great story. So maybe I'll share it a bit. So on the cemetery tours, either on the Murder Mayhem when we kind of go up from the north end back down to the south, or the other tours we go from the south to the north, we usually pass by the area of the cemetery where there's graves belonging to the Freemasons,
All right.
and
Okay.
I make a little comment about Freemasons, make a little joke about they've come on my tour a couple times and asked me about what I'm saying and stuff like that. But I don't really highlight anybody in the area 'cause I didn't know anybody, right? I can
Yeah.
find a name because they're all listed there, but I just there's 30,000 graves in the cemetery. I can just find another story easier than researching a bunch of headstones and that. But I came across an article a couple months ago, and it was about the KKK in Regina.
Oh.
And I thought, oh, I actually don't know anybody who's who was part of that back in the day, and now it's kind of disbanded, so it's hard to find anything really about who was in it. But there's a big picture there of I think it's called the Imperial Wizard of it, and
Oh,
and they had his name, and I was like, oh, great, I can look. It was this guy buried, and he's buried in the Freemason cemetery. So now I don't just have a little side note about the cemetery. Now I can go into a whole thing about the KKK and what happened here with that, and I'm like, oh, that just kind of completely changes my whole thing. So it's gonna kind of almost skip past it to the next story. Now I have to make that into a whole stop,
yep.
and I really want to find out where exactly in the area it is. Like, is it right by the road? Is it kind of deeper in? So I went by yesterday, and it's under like 3 feet of snow. So I'm
Oh,
not gonna find out for a while.
for a while.
Yeah, yeah,
Might be May before you learn what's in there.
yeah. That'll be a summer research project,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, you said you don't need it till September, so you got some time.
Yep.
How interesting. Well, and I guess how do you come up with like searching for these stories or doing the research for these stories that you do for the cemetery tours?
Sometimes it's a matter of how difficult the research is. Like, for example, I'm working with Warren James right now to find information about Michael Hack. And he was someone who was executed in Regina, I think in the 20s or the early 30s. And like some of them are well documented,
Mm-hmm.
what they did, where they were executed, where they're buried. But some of them are very weakly documented, I'll say. For example, there was one, it might even be Michael Hack, that said he was buried with all Jewish rites, which is, I'm assuming, means he was buried in the Jewish cemetery.
Yep.
But all the headstones there are in Hebrew, and have to go through the synagogue to get any kind of information. So it's like, well, what do we do? Do we just say Michael Hack is, or if it's him, buried in that area, or do we like it's but stuff like that where it's a different language and it's a different cemetery because it's a private cemetery. There's a lot more layers of complication to it. So
Yeah.
for that one, I might just skip it because I'm like, it's gonna take me some time to figure that out.
Yep.
Um, Other times, like in the northern part of the cemetery, there's lots of people who were executed at the gallows and buried. Let's say I think there's seven, right? Seven people buried up there. That's a lot. There's hundreds, but seven people who were executed at the gallows. Do I highlight all seven? That would we'd be standing there a long time, right?
Yep.
So
That's true.
I say, which ones do I find the most interesting? There's the one he killed a family of three and tried to burn down the house. Well, that's a good one. And people will find that interesting. There's the one where the guy killed his wife and his wife's family because he thought his mother-in-law was a witch. Oh, that's a good one. We'd go that one, right? But like one where maybe he kills an RCMP officer. It's like, well, it's tragic, but it doesn't have the same like spooky
Entertainment
vibe to
value.
it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
kind of personal choice which one I want to talk about, and also like we do talk about Sergeant John Wilson and his murder of his first wife, and
Yep.
then later on most of my tours I talk about um, Rosie Schmidt, who was killed by her husband. I'm thinking, well, that's two wives that were killed by their husbands. I don't want to cut out um, Mary Wilson because there's a book about it. It's a really good
Hmm.
story, but I also don't want to cut out Rosie Valentine or Rosie Schmidt because that's a sad story. But then again, I kind of look like a weirdo who keeps talking about women being killed by their husbands. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
You probably don't want an entire tour just about that.
yeah. Uh, that's why I did the famous women of Regina tour. To be like, here's a good story about women that they don't always end up like that. Um, so it's tough. Like, how do I balance it? But that's kind of like if I have this one story, do I cut out another one? Researching can be tough too, but now I have, maybe 30, 40 stories to draw from whenever I need to. So I have a good set if I need to make a tour out of something.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Well, and how long have you been doing like the themes with your tours? Has that always been?
No, that's
Because
new
that's
since
fairly
last year.
recent, hey? Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
because I was getting some feedback about how all my tours just kind of highlighted women being killed. I was like, oh, I'll do some tour about women teachers, nurses, doing good things, great things. So
Yeah.
that's why I added in a theme and thought, well, if I'm doing that, I'll do the cyclone, and then it kind of just every month is a different theme.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of plots in there, right? I can't remember the number off the top of my head now.
There's about 30,000 plots in the cemetery.
Yeah, so you could You could definitely do a lot of different themes, I'm sure. Especially since it started back in the 1880s. So
Yep.
probably lots of stories. Interesting, yeah. I guess, do you have like a favorite one that you've done so far? Or even just a favorite tour that sticks out in your mind?
Hmm. I really enjoyed the Regina Cyclone one because of how challenging it was. Because
Oh.
some of them, like sometimes you get to a grave and it has one name on it, but you do some research to find out, oh, there's two victims buried here from different families. It's like, okay, well, that's interesting.
Oh.
One of them was um, the Blenkhorns, who were famous because they're supposed to be on the Titanic, but then missed it and then got here and killed, died in cyclone a couple months later. That story is really neat because they technically have a headstone over in Scotland, and the headstone that's there now is like his brother-in-law who died a couple years later, and they gave him a headstone. So
Okay.
they're not listed there, but they are buried there. Um,
Oh.
Another one would be, I think, Glencorn, and then there was one. Uh, I looked at the record and I went to the grave, and it was a different name. I thought, well, is this another case of, they were buried here, and another person was buried later? So I asked the city, and it turns out that they're just, according to the record, in the wrong spot. They're another row up. So like,
Oh.
sometimes it's like the wrong location, the wrong name, the wrong grave. And for only 28 people, and not all of them buried there, it's like, well, that's,
Yeah, that's
not.
weird.
Oh yeah.
I can understand the Spanish flu because that was a lot of people at
Yeah.
once
Oh yeah.
in a very short time. But yeah, only 28 in one night. That's not a massive amount of people.
No. And to be that completely haphazardly placed in there, it was fun, but it's also kind of frustrating because you get to a grave and you're like, there's nothing here, but we're talking about five people, you know? So it's like you can take a picture, but you're taking a picture of grass right now. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, buddy.
Well, that's why you got the this headstone though for the Spanish flu people. So
Yeah.
that at least there's that. Yeah. Yeah, because that I remember walking. I think that was before I met you and knew about the cemetery tours. I went for a walk in there, and it was just like, oh, and look at this big empty field. It is just an empty field, but actually, it's not.
I was thinking about doing something where the funds would go towards like a little plaque or a little cross to mark all the graves, but
Oh yeah.
then I found out like in that area there's like what exact number 380 bodies. So it's like how do I even begin marking them? You
Well,
know?
yeah. No, that would be hard. That would be really hard.
Yeah.
So you'd almost
That,
just need like a single plaque
yeah.
if you were going to try and do all the names. But then you'd have to try and figure out all the names, which might
I,
also be interesting.
I've used the city's records, like their database, to find names, and there's a lot of names, but there's a lot of them are unknown as well.
Yeah.
And the challenge, like, yeah, a lot of them are, young kids or women. Some are indigenous, which are all wonderful, and they should be all be marked. But then you got the ones who were killers, who were
Yeah.
executed. It's like, do I want to give a headstone to, a person who killed a family of three? Really,
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, do they really deserve the same treatment as all the others?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Hmm. Interesting. Do you have anything you're super excited about this coming year that you're looking forward to, or?
The KKK story is one that I've wanted to like talk about for years, but I just didn't have anybody. So that's like it was like a breakthrough moment. I'm like, I found somebody finally, and I think I'm going to talk more about the people in the North End, more of those because Warren James was doing it last year and he did a great job. But this year I kind of want to do it because it was they had me for one story and then they had Warren for three stories and then they had Vince for four stories, three stories, and then it was over. And I'm like, what was I doing here? I was standing
Yeah.
around enjoying the stories for an hour and a half. So I kind of wanted to take over that and just see how it goes. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited for that. But that's again not till the fall. Um, I want to do like another theme this year, but I don't know what to do. Um, I don't know what yet. But there will be a new theme. Probably going to put it in July if it doesn't get rained out again. Cyclone. in June. Because like last July was just my regular tour, and that's fine. But I'm doing that now for
Right.
like 3 years, so I change it
Yeah.
up a bit. So there'll be some different tours this year, some new stories. So one thing we want to talk about, we want to do is go back into the Jewish cemetery.
Hmm.
I cut it out last year because of all that stuff going with Israel and Gaza, and I was like, I don't really want to like. Obviously, we know there's a difference between a cemetery here in Canada and what's going on over there right now, right? But some people don't see that, right?
Yeah.
And maybe people come on the tour that want to be respectful, they're going to appreciate what they're seeing, but then they'll tell somebody who doesn't have that same level of respect and think, oh, there's a cemetery full of Jewish graves, I'm gonna go smash them all, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
last year I cut it out. This year I kind of want to bring it back because it's always been quite popular. It's a cool area of the cemetery. There's a lot of history there, and the graves are all in Hebrew. They're all close together. They all look very old world. So I want to bring it back. So there'll be some repeats from last year, but there'll be some new things as well. It's going to be a fun year, but I'm still getting it all together. Got a couple months before it starts.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you never know. If I guess if the weather's good, do you think you'll actually get to do a May again, or probably
The
June?
only- It's tricky because like last year I did every week from beginning of
That's right.
June to the end of October,
And that's a
and
lot.
it's a lot. So if I did it in May, do I want to add another 4 tours onto that? Because one issue that I'm having with the tours is I do them every week, and they're generally pretty well sold. Uh, Depends on the weather and all that stuff. But not everyone can come out on a Friday night, and people are
Yeah.
busy. So if I was to do, a Tuesday and a Friday, now suddenly I'm doing it twice a
Twice
week
a week. Oh
for
my goodness.
4 months, which is
And
a
you're not even
lot.
getting paid for it, so
Yeah,
that's a lot of time.
yeah. That'd be 4 hours a week every week for 4 months. A lot of exercise though.
And it would be.
Yeah.
Yep. Lots of
Uh,
walking.
so I could stagger it, maybe one week is Tuesday, one week is Friday, but that confuses people as well. Because even when I switch the hours in October from being 7 till 9 to 4 to 6, people come on the wrong day, come at the wrong time. So I like to keep it consistent, but I also don't want to spend my entire summer in the cemetery.
Yep.
Uh,
No, that's understandable.
so maybe May could be because it is a nice time of year, May, if it's not raining. And June, people are busy, and July, people are gone, and then summer vacation. Um, so May is a nice time of year to do it. Maybe I could do Tuesdays in May as like a intro into the season kind of
Hmm.
thing, but I don't know yet. I would like to. One more month of doing it is fun, but it can be exhausting too. So I don't know.
Oh, definitely.
Maybe,
Do you
maybe.
find that you're getting more and more people every year?
That's hard to gauge because the second half of the year is always sold out, right?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, September's October are always sold out. August is usually pretty good. This year's famous women, so they were all doing those tours did very well. Uh, June and July weren't that well because of the weather. Um,
Yeah.
so I think we could sell more tickets, but there is only so many more tickets we could sell. Like it's not like the issue is scaling this tour. If I wanted to
Hmm.
do it, like how do I scale it? And I thought, do I want to hire someone to come in and pay them some of the money? And I could do that, and then we offer more tours, but I don't know. I kind of like doing it myself. I kind of like being the star.
Well, you've
So
been doing it for so long now, so yeah, I can
it
understand that.
it would feel weird handing over the reins to someone else to do it part time.
Yeah. Well, do you
And
think it's partly to the fall is, starting to get the Halloween feel and maybe that's why it. And
yes,
like you said, people are busy in July usually with summer holidays and stuff, so.
for sure. Yeah, and September, October is the only time of year, besides maybe May, where I'm doing the tours during the school season.
Mhm.
So students can come on the tours, teachers can come on the tours, they get a private tour. So it's very busy that time of year.
Oh, that's
Uh,
true, yeah.
Because then there's been times where people wanted to have like a little field trip to the cemetery and learn about the history and like give like a quick little hour-long tour. But come after October till April, when they're in school, cemetery is covered in snow.
Oh yeah, so harder to do a tour. Or at least it'd be a really boring tour when you can't see anything. Just
Very
everything covered in
cold,
snow.
wet tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or really muddy, like it is right now, probably.
Yeah, no, we went there yesterday. It's either mud or it's 3 feet of snow. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit harder. Huh. I guess, do you have like, I don't know, a goal that you hope to hit with the tours, or?
Hmm. One of the issues with the tours is that I don't have a lot to really compare it to.
Yeah.
If you look at another city, let's say Philadelphia, for example, because they have a tour of their cemetery that's very well done. They have guides there that do the tour every half an hour. But the difference is that the Philadelphia cemetery is in downtown Philadelphia, which is
Yep.
a much bigger audience than our cemetery, which is not really out of the way, but it's a little bit, out of downtown.
Yep.
Um, so I look at other places like Moose Jaw Cemetery. They do tours as well. They're done through the tourism board, but they only do them, I think, once a week, and they only do them for a couple months. I start earlier before them, and I go way past when their cutoff is. Um, and also their tours only, I think it's only an hour long, and mine's two
Hmm.
hours long, and they charge only like $7, and I charge 20. So
Yep.
so I'm trying to find a similar business model to mine to kind of mimic and see how can we scale it. I guess some would be maybe like the Kingston or Montreal haunted walking tours that they have,
Yep.
where they can I think you can book it per like as a group. So let's say you don't want to do it Friday night, but maybe you want to do a Wednesday night or Thursday afternoon, whatever. You can book a time, and that would work good. I could do that. I've been doing more tours then, but they would be smaller groups, so that
Yep.
would be easier. But I also have a job, so
Yeah. Well, yeah.
yeah, I'm busy until 5 most days. Um, but I'm thinking that will be an option. Last year it just didn't work out because of I can't remember if there was a scheduling conflicts or something. I couldn't do it just anytime people wanted. But I want to bring that back so people can book a time and a date for their group. One issue is that because it has to be approved by the city, there's a 10-day notice I
Oh,
have to give them.
yeah.
So
Yep.
that's a pain because let's say, it's one day in July, they could think, oh, I want to go on a cemetery tour. Oh, I have to book it almost 2 weeks ahead.
2 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
hard.
if I could get that reduced, 'cause I really don't know why they need 10 days to say, yeah, you can come to the cemetery, because anything that's a burial is going to be like within a 3-day notice anyway. So like,
Yep.
I don't know. I would like to get that reduced if I can, so that we can have these more often. Um, Maybe I'll do something like that as opposed to having weekly things to just book whenever you want.
Hmm.
That might be an idea as well, just to kind of change the model up to make it more like what Moose Jaw has, or more what other cemeteries have.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, no, interesting. I guess we should talk about where people find information about the tours.
Yeah, you can find information on reginacemeterytours.ca. It's the website. You can even go on the website and play like a little virtual game of the cemetery too, if you don't want to go on the tour yourself or you're from a different city. Um, Sometimes people they say like, oh, they learn me through the game, and that's why they come on the actual tour. But like,
It is
oh,
a
this
fun
one,
little pixelated game. I liked it.
it's fun.
I enjoyed it.
I always think, oh, I should redo that game, or I should put it on a platform that's more accessible, like on a Switch or something like that. Because right now it's on the browser, so it's free and
Yep.
anyone can play it. But it's on mobile, it's a little bit buggy, and it could be cleaned up a bit. But for something that I threw together in like 4 months, 5 months, 1 year, it's not bad.
Yeah. No, it's fun.
Um, so there's that. You can find the website. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Um, I think I'm on TikTok too, but I'm not posting nearly enough on TikTok. Um, and I also put the events on like the City of Regina Tourism Regina event calendar too, and places like that. So they're floating around, and I didn't tell them to do this, and maybe they won't do it next year. But Leader Post every week promotes the tours too in their
Oh,
website.
nice.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
think maybe it's because it's on the Tourism Regina event calendar, but every week it's like things to do this weekend in Regina, cemetery tours. So
That's helpful. Yeah, that's
yes, it
awesome.
was nice to see. So
Cool.
I'm around if people are looking for me. But at Google as well, you can just find me, and it's like a Google business too. So there's usually updates about what's ever going on with the business.
Awesome. Cool. Is there anything else you want to tell anybody or everybody before we wrap up?
Yeah, I should talk about pricing. That's a good
Oh, we didn't
idea.
talk about pricing. Well, you
Uh,
did mention $20, I think, in
yeah,
passing at one
yeah.
point.
I think I increased it. from 10 to 20, but there's a couple things I did different last year that I think I'll carry on. So it used to be $10 per adult, $5 per child.
Right.
But the people ask me, well, what's a child? Like, is it 13? Is it 14? Is it 7? Is it 10? So I'm okay. Adults are 20, students, children, teachers are all free. So if you
Okay.
want to come with your kids, cool. It's $20 an adult. That way, it's fine. I think $20 isn't that bad. It's a little expensive, it's a little pricey. Maybe it's $40 for two people. But if you have kids, they can come for free. They get a walk out with the kids for a couple hours. People bring their dogs sometimes for the walk. Um, and $20 isn't really now you can't buy much with, so it's not that bad.
Yep.
You think it's like a ticket price for a movie, but you're walking around seeing stuff. So that's the new pricing. I think it was pretty well received last year. No one really complained. Um, so that'll be the price again going forward. Probably about $20 a person, but children and students and teachers, I kind of have an option. I think it's all education staff members are free, just so they can
Yep.
learn the stories and take them back to their students and tell them about it as well.
Cool. Awesome.
I think that's
Well,
all I have. So,
awesome. Well, thanks for coming back on.
thank you for having me. This is a blast.